Are protective styles not growing your hair? Because for a lot of women, they're actually the reason why you're still losing length. Because there is a version of protective styling that works, and then there's the version that we've been taught. And for a lot of us, those two things are not the same. Because if protective styles work the way they were supposed to, you would take your hair down and you would have noticeably longer length every single time. But for a lot of us, that is not happening. You didn't do anything wrong. You just weren't given the full picture. And that's what we're getting into today. Now, before we get into the mistakes, and there are 6 of them, I need you to stay with me till the end of this video. Because the first 4 mistakes, you've probably heard a version of those before. But mistake 5 and 6, those are the ones that nobody is talking about. And honestly, they're the ones that often make the biggest difference. So I'm gonna need you to stay, because by the time we get there, this is gonna start making a lot of sense. So here's how it usually goes. You get your hair done, braids, wigs, twists, and in your mind, you're like, my hair is about to grow. This is it. I'm about to get 10 inches, y'all. You go ahead, you leave it in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe sometimes even longer. And the whole time you're thinking, my hair is growing, my hair is resting, it's being protected. Then you finally take it down and you're checking, you're pulling pieces to see if it's longer, and it's either the same length or you're like, did my ends get thinner? And sometimes it's not even that it looks shorter. Sometimes it's that the ends are feeling so dry, brittle, they just feeling weak that you have absolutely no choice but to clip them. So now you are cutting off the exact length that you took weeks to grow. And here's what I want you to hear. Obviously, it's not that your hair didn't grow. It's just you're having a hard time trying to keep it. And I've been in that cycle. I've been putting my hair away, expecting a ton of results, but then taking it down and feeling like I'm having to start all the way over. It took me a while, but I finally realized the problem wasn't my hair. It was what I was doing while my hair was in that particular protective style. So let's talk about exactly what's happening, because breakage does not come out of nowhere. There are very specific things that we're doing or not doing that are turning our protective styles into breakage traps. The first one being tension. If your style is tight, then your hair is going to be under constant stress. And stress on the hair shaft over time leads to breakage, especially at the most vulnerable points like your edges, your nape around your temple. Now, that tightness might feel like security when the style is fresh, but that pulling sensation is not the style holding. They're your follicles under pressure. Your hair does not need to be under tension to be protected. If it hurts, it's absolutely too tight and it's your hair telling you something. Mistake 2, putting your hair away and then straight up ignoring it. We have been sold this idea that protective style means that you can be absolutely hands off. Set it and forget it. But your hair does not stop needing moisture, even in a protective style. It still needs water. It still needs care. Out of sight, out of mind is not a hair care routine, y'all. Dry hair is fragile hair, and fragile hair breaks. And this is the one I really had to check myself on, because I have 2 kids, y'all, under the age of 4. With those 2 kids and a full work schedule, I would put my hair away and genuinely forget about it for weeks, because the time was passing. It was out of sight, out of mind. And it wasn't because I didn't care about my hair, because obviously I absolutely care about my hair. But life is lifing, and I sometimes forget to re-moisturize. And I would always pay for it during the takedown. Always. And honestly, it doesn't have to be super complicated to re-moisturize. What actually works could be like a quick mist of water and a little bit of oil, maybe twice a week. That's really it. 5 minutes, and it makes such a significant difference in what you find when the style has to come out. Number 3, leaving in a style way past its expiration date. And I get why we do this, because protective styles take time and they cost money, and we all want to get our money's worth. But there is a certain point that a protective style stops being protective. And once you hit that window, you start dealing with buildup at the roots, tangling, dryness, matting. And when you take it down, you're not gently releasing healthy hair. You're detangling through weeks of neglect. And that detangling process is actually where a lot of people are causing so much of the damage and losing so much of the length. You have to make sure that you're taking those styles out before they get to that point. Otherwise, you're going to be dealing with damage instead of growth. Mistake 4, neglecting your ends. And this one is quiet. It kind of sneaks up on you. Your ends are the oldest part of your hair. They have been through every wash day, every style change, every season. Your ends have been through all of it. They're the most fragile, the most porous, and the most prone to splitting and breaking. And when you're in a protective style, your ends can sometimes be often the most exposed. They're rubbing up against fabric, they're drying out, basically just getting absolutely no attention. So they split, they thin out, and eventually you have no choice but to cut them. Hair grows at the root, but length is determined by what you keep at your ends. And if your ends ain't healthy, you ain't keeping nothing. Mistake 5, and this is the one I feel real passionate about, because y'all, we are adding too much hair to these styles. Braids down to our waist, extensions packed in heavy, and we think we out here looking cute. But all of that extra weight is putting stress on your hair. The style might look incredible, but your actual hair under it is under tension the entire time. And that sustained stress accumulates. If you just simply use less hair, installed well, and maintained consistently, it's going to do way more for your retention than a heavy style that looks impressive, but leaves your real hair way worse off. Which brings me to my last one, switching styles constantly. Install, take down, install again, over and over, because we got bored, because we saw something new, because we simply just don't know, how to be boring. Every time you install, remove a style, and install again, that's manipulation. That's stress on the hair. And if you're doing that every week or 2 weeks, your hair is never actually getting a real break. It's in a protective style technically, but you're manipulating it constantly. And that's the opposite of protective. I think we have to get real honest with ourselves about this one, because I know we as a culture, we love a different look. Okay, we love it. But there's a real difference between protecting your hair and constantly restyling it and calling it protection. When you put all of this together, y'all, the tension, the dryness, the overstayed styles, the neglected ends, the heavy hair, the constant switching of styles, it is not surprising at all that we're still suffering from so much breakage. We're doing a lot. And if we're being honest with ourselves, a lot of it is working against us. And look, a lot of these mistakes are even being made worse by products in our routine. We're using products with ingredients that are causing a lot of buildup, dryness, or even scalp irritation. And most of the time, we don't even realize it. I do clean hair audits where I go through your entire routine, every product, every step, and tell you exactly what's helping, what's hurting, and what to cut. If you've been doing all the right things, but you're still not seeing a ton of results, that audit can show you why. Link is in the description. Simple gets results. Exciting gets compliments, but usually on a style that costs your hair something. And I had to sit with this myself too. I was doing a lot back in the day. I was thinking that more effort on my part meant better results. But what I actually found was the opposite. The more that I simplified, the more my hair responded. Less product, less manipulation, less overthinking, just the basics done well and done consistently. And that's really what my whole channel is built around. It's built around less but better, because that's what actually works. So let's quickly talk about what works, because I don't want to leave y'all with a list of problems without telling you how to fix it. Hair growth isn't about hiding your hair necessarily. It's about retaining what already grows out of your head, because your hair is growing right now every single day. The question is whether it's breaking off at the same rate that it's coming in. Retention is the whole game, and that comes down to 4 things. The first one is consistency. Not being perfect, not necessarily having all the best products, but being consistent, showing up for your hair to re-moisturize or whatever it is every week, whether you feel like it or not. That consistency compounds over time in a way that nothing else does. Number 2 is maintenance inside of the style. Your hair still needs attention while it's put away. Moisturize at least once a week. Make sure to seal your ends before they go into a style. Check in on your scalp health. Whatever it is, a style is not a reason to ignore your hair. You just have to care for it differently. Number 3 is timing, knowing when you need to take out a style. Leaving in a style longer doesn't necessarily mean you're guaranteed growth. It often starts to lead to even more damage the longer you leave in a style. Set a date when you install the style of when you're going to take it down and honor it. And number 5 is going to be the environment. Audit what's in your products, read your labels. You don't necessarily need 10 things. You need the right things. And the right things should support moisture, protect your ends, and not clog your scalp. The goal isn't more, it's less, but better. Because if your routine is working against you, there is no amount of styles that are going to change that. Drop a comment below. Tell me what protective style you're currently in or what you're planning on next. Because protective styles can help. They genuinely can. but only when everything around them is supporting your hair growth too. All right, y'all. So that's it for me. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.